Hello. In this video, we're going to talk about the volume of a rectangular prism. Now, this is just a fancy word for box. That's really all it is. Now, a prism, in this case, a rectangular prism, has a base that is, in this case, a rectangle. And then the prism comes from the fact that it has, technically it's a right rectangular prism. It has a vertical rise of some height, basically. So we have the length and we have the width like normal, and then we have the height. And this is going to be the rectangular prism, which the volume is going to be the length times the width times the height. Excellent. So the volume of a suitcase is 1920 cubic inches. The height is 12 inches and the length is 6 inches longer than the width. Find the dimensions of the suitcase. So I'm going to go ahead and use this to help us out. Now, if you're ever having trouble drawing one of these, here's what you really do. Just draw a rectangle, then draw another rectangle somewhere up here, and just kind of connect. Which is absolutely horrible. Let's do it better. So let's do it this way. I'm going to draw just a box like this. So here, here, and that's going to be much better. There we go. Hopefully you can see the box there. Anyway, I'll go ahead and use this one up here so we can see it a little bit easier. The volume of the suitcase is 1920 cubic inches. So I'm going to say down here that the volume equals 1920. Awesome. The height is 12 inches, which tells me that the height is 12 inches. Awesome. And the length is 6 inches longer than the width. But notice that we want to find the full dimensions. Excuse me. Go away. Why is that here? There we go. We want to find the full dimensions of the suitcase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a variable. So I'm going to let either L or W equal something. And if you look at this, it says the height is, which means, oops, where is it? No. The length is 6 inches longer than the width. So I'm going to define the length in terms of the width. So the length is 6 inches longer than, which means plus 6, then what? The width. The width is W, so let's define the width as W. Excellent. So up here, L is W plus 6, and W is just W. So using the volume formula, length times width times height, the volume, 1920, is equal to the length, W plus 6, times W times the height of 12. Now notice that 12 times W, well, W times 12 is 12W. So we have 1920 equals 12W times W plus 6. Distribute the 12W, which gives me 1920 is equal to 12W squared plus 72W. And then move the 1920 to the right-hand side, which of course gives me 0 is equal to 12W squared plus 72W minus 1920. And all three of these share a common factor of, in this case, 12. And you could easily say that they have a common factor of 2, and then you would see that they have a common factor of 3, and so on and so forth. But I believe in this case it is in fact 12. So dividing each of these by 12 is going to give us the following. Let me go ahead and write that down. So divide by 12, divide by 12, divide by 12, and divide by 12 gives me 0 is equal to W squared plus 6W, and then minus 160. And again, we can try to factor this. This can be factored. Ask yourself what multiplies to 160 and has a difference of 6. Well, I know 20 times 8 gives us 160, and that's a difference of 12, so that's not quite right. How about 15? Does 160 go into 15? No. So again, if you go to your calculator and you type in the 160 divided by x into the y equals, and then go to your graph, or your second graph, that should tell you the factors of 160 that have a difference of 6. And that's actually going to be 10 and 16. I'm not going to show you the quadratic formula again. I'm just going to factor this. So it gives us 0 is equal to w plus something and w minus something. The reason one's positive, one's negative is because this is a negative. What multiplies to 160 that has a difference of 6? Well, that'd be 10 and 16. And since the 6 here is positive, that means that the 16 is positive and the 10 is negative. And this is simply going to give us the following two formulas. We have w plus 16 equals 0, or w minus 10 equals 0. Subtract the 16 means w equals negative 16. Add the 10 means w equals 10. And notice that we rejected negative 16 because that's a negative width, and that doesn't make any sense. We only use w equals 10. So going up here, we see, first of all, we know h equals 12. We know w equals 10, so L equals 10 plus 6, which is 16. Or you could have done that here. There we go. So the length is 16, the width is 10, the height is 12. That tells me that the dimensions are 10 inches by 12 inches by 16 inches. Alrighty. I believe that that is it for this particular video. I will see you in the next one. Have fun.